Back in 2011, Elon Musk laughed at and mocked the Chinese EV company BYD. Back then, he did not know this company would haunt him and become his worst nightmare within 10 years. Today, BYD has taken the $400 billion EV market by storm by launching futuristic engines and models, and these are extremely more affordable than Tesla's, and are set to dominate the $7.2 trillion EV market by 2050. That has sounded the alarms for not only Tesla, but all other major automakers who were thinking of entering the EV domination race. But what has BYD done that now has Elon Musk worrying, despite him being in Trump's administration? In this video, let's find out. In an industry that moves at the speed of electrons, it takes a seismic event to make Elon Musk flinch. But that's exactly what happened in early 2025, when Chinese automaker BYD, once a battery supplier punching above its weight, announced a new hybrid powertrain so efficient, so cost-effective, and so radically game-changing that it threatens to collapse the walls of the electric vehicle industry as we know it. Tesla may have built the modern EV empire, but BYD just walked in with a $10,000 electric car and a 2,000-kilometer hybrid beast that might blow the doors off Tesla's throne room. That's because, in comparison, Tesla's car prices stand at $44,000, $50,000, $80,000, and $110,000. For the global EV market, this is more than just another product release. This is the start of a systemic transformation, technologically, economically, and geopolitically. But to understand the shockwaves of BYD's 2025 announcement, we need to rewind to Shenzhen, China in 1995. A gritty industrial city, known more for knockoff electronics than high-tech innovation, became home to a company that started by making rechargeable batteries for Nokia phones. BYD, short for Build Your Dreams, was founded with just 20 employees. Their competitive edge? Vertical integration. Instead of buying components from suppliers, they built everything in-house, from motors, semiconductors, and batteries to control software. This playbook would later make them unbeatable. By 2003, BYD ventured into automotive territory with the F3, a $7,000 compact that was ridiculed in the West, but lapped up in China. Then came the real disruption in 2008, the F3DM, one of the world's first plug-in hybrids. This wasn't a copycat. It was a warning shot. While Western companies focused on style and branding, BYD was solving infrastructure bottlenecks, slashing costs, and mastering electrification from scratch. Fast forward to 2024, and the company once dismissed as a low-cost battery manufacturer had become a global juggernaut. BYD had sold a staggering 1.1 million electric vehicles in a single year, according to data from the International Energy Agency, claiming a 20% share of the global EV market, a position once thought to be untouchable outside of Tesla. But what truly shocked the industry wasn't just the volume. It was where those sales came from and how strategically BYD had positioned itself. In Europe, BYD did the unthinkable. It overtook Volkswagen, the region's long-standing automotive titan, in EV sales. Germany, long considered a fortress of engineering and brand loyalty, began seeing an influx of Chinese EVs in 2023. By mid-2024, BYD's compact and affordable models like the Dolphin and Auto 3 were outselling legacy brands in key markets such as France, Norway, and the Netherlands, disrupting local pricing and pressuring European automakers to slash margins just to stay competitive. It was no longer about prestige, it was about survival. Meanwhile, in Latin America, a market often overlooked by global automakers in the EV transition, BYD made aggressive moves, leveraging close trade ties with Brazil and logistical advantages in Mexico. BYD ramped up its exports and secured large-scale fleet contracts. In countries like Colombia, Chile, and Argentina, BYD became the top EV seller, even supplying electric buses to government-run public transport systems. By 2024, Latin America had become one of BYD's most promising growth zones outside Asia, with over 150,000 units sold in the region, according to Bloomberg reports. In Latin America, BYD now controls 43% of the EV market. But it was in China, the world's largest EV market, that BYD's dominance reached mythical status. While Tesla had made headlines with its Shanghai Gigafactory and Model Y production, BYD was quietly becoming China's national champion. With a full portfolio of models across every segment, from microcars like the Seagull to luxury sedans like the Han EV, BYD offered something for every consumer at every price point, and all without relying on imports or joint ventures. It wasn't just a car company. It was an ecosystem, producing its own semiconductors, its own blade batteries, its own inverters and motors, all under one roof. This vertical integration gave BYD unmatched agility and pricing power in a post-pandemic world still struggling with supply chain chaos. By late 2024, BYD's market capitalization crossed $100 billion, a valuation supported not by speculative hype, but by solid unit economics and relentless expansion. Global financial institutions began reassessing their EV portfolios. Wall Street couldn't ignore it anymore. One of BYD's longest and most high-profile backers, Warren Buffett, who had invested in the company back in 2008 through Berkshire Hathaway, reaffirmed his commitment on national television in March 2025, calling BYD the future of clean mobility. No longer was BYD a plucky underdog or a regional anomaly. It had become a force that could rival, and in some areas outperform, the most established automakers in the world. It wasn't the elephant in the room. It was the dragon, and it had taken flight. But BYD was in no mood to stop giving shocks. In March 2025, BYD announced the fifth-generation DMI hybrid system, a plug-in hybrid powertrain that makes both gas and electric look outdated. And this is what Elon Musk is worried about, because this isn't some Prius-style compromise. This is a technological leap built around brutal efficiency, radical design, and relentless performance. Let's look at the numbers. At the heart of the new powertrain is a 1.5-liter hybrid engine featuring 46.6% thermal efficiency, a world record for a mass-produced vehicle. To put that in context, Toyota's best hybrid tech clocks in at 41%, and Honda's at 40%. Every percentage gain in thermal efficiency means millions in fuel savings and massive gains in range. This system powers two new models, the BYD Chin-L DMI and Seal 06 DMI, both capable of achieving 2,000 kilometers of range on a single tank and full charge. For comparison, the Tesla Model S, Tesla's highest range EV, tops out at 405 miles. That means BYD's hybrids can cover nearly 3 times the distance before needing to refuel or recharge. That's New York to Chicago and back again. And they are not just efficient, they are fast. With an electric motor-first architecture, the acceleration feels like a pure EV. In fact, these vehicles use an electric-centric hybrid system where the gasoline engine serves more as a range extender than a primary driver. The result is instant torque, zero gear shifting delays, and seamless transitions between modes. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black Africa. Let's continue now. Now, let's talk price. BYD's most hyped compact EV, the Seagull, comes in at just $10,000, and we're not talking about a stripped-down, no-frills box on wheels. The Seagull features a 10.1-inch touchscreen, modern safety tech, and an electric-only range that matches or exceeds other cars that cost 4 times more. Compare that to Tesla's most affordable vehicle, the Model 3, which starts at $40,000. That's a $30,000 gap, enough to buy another BYD Seagull, and still have money left for a European vacation. And yet the Seagull offers faster charging, more efficient battery use, and 10,000 pre-orders in a single day. According to January 2025 reports, BYD achieves this with vertical integration. They build their own blade battery, their own chips, their own drivetrains, and their own inverters. This cuts costs by up to 30%, according to a 2025 McKinsey report. Tesla, on the other hand, still outsources many components, which exposes it to supply chain fluctuations, chip shortages, and inflationary pressures. Worse for Tesla, BYD's hybrid strategy solves the biggest EV fear in the world: range anxiety. Drivers no longer need to worry about the nearest charger. If the battery runs out, the gasoline engine takes over. This makes it infinitely more practical in rural markets like Texas, Nebraska, and Western China, where charging infrastructure lags behind. Beyond cars, BYD is taking aim at every electrified sector Tesla wants to own. In public transport, BYD has already deployed 50,000 electric buses across Europe and China. Their trucks are next. In energy storage, they have quietly become the third largest battery supplier in the world, commanding 37% of global production as of 2024, per the USGS. Now BYD is pushing its Super DM architecture, which offers vehicle-to-load technology, turning your car into a mobile power station. That means you can charge your phone, power a coffee machine, or even run a small home during a blackout, all from your vehicle. And charging? Forget Tesla's supercharger with 250 kilowatt capacity. BYD's new 1,000 kilowatt charging system charges cars 10 times faster in as little as 6 minutes for a full top-up. This isn't theoretical. It's launching in the Han L and Tang L platforms, both of which also boast acceleration rivaling sports cars. The Han L goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 2.7 seconds, quicker than most Ferraris, yet it's marketed as a family sedan. Once dismissed as a budget Chinese brand, BYD has now morphed into the single greatest existential threat, not just to Tesla, but to the entire Western automotive establishment. The scope of disruption it brings isn't limited to product innovation. It's deeply structural. It's about who controls supply chains, who builds smarter, and who can offer cutting-edge technology at a quarter of the price. And if you're sitting in Detroit, Wolfsburg, or Silicon Valley, that realization hits like a freight train. In the heart of America's once mighty car manufacturing belt, places like Detroit, Michigan, tremors are already being felt. Workers are staring into an uncertain future. One American worker summed it up with brutal honesty. If these 10,000 BYD cars start showing up here, our plant's going to be a ghost town. And that fear isn't unfounded. BYD has this leverage because it produces everything in-house. In contrast, every part that Ford, GM, and Stellantis use is sourced from a complex spiderweb of third-party suppliers. This puts entire tiers of the traditional supply chain at risk. The United Auto Workers Union, in its 2025 labor report, warned that up to 100,000 American auto jobs could vanish if BYD's market share in North America climbs to just 10%, a figure well within reach if their Seagull or Chin DMI models gain traction through fleet sales or dealership adoption. The union's analysis shows that every 1% gain in BYD's U.S. market share could cost approximately 10,000 American jobs, as domestic automakers would be forced to slash costs or outsource more production just to stay alive. But it's not just factories that are shaking. In California, where environmentalism and EV adoption go hand in hand, the affordability of BYD's offerings is turning heads fast. For everyday Americans, the idea of owning an electric vehicle was always aspirational, until now. Getting an EV at $10,000 instead of Tesla's $40,000 directly addresses the affordability crisis. For millions living paycheck to paycheck, BYD isn't just a new car brand. It represents mobility, freedom. A safe, tech-packed EV that costs less than a used Honda Civic isn't just a great deal. It's a social wedge. It's disruptive. Meanwhile, in Shanghai, the symbolic heart of Tesla's Chinese ambitions, a very different kind of battle is playing out. BYD's Seagull models are being parked right outside Tesla showrooms. This isn't just customer choice, it's psychological warfare. A clear signal to every passerby. There's a smarter, cheaper, more practical alternative. Tesla is beginning to look increasingly like a premium outlier, potentially out of touch with middle-income buyers. And in Wall Street boardrooms, the panic is very real. Analysts at Morgan Stanley have already issued cautionary notes, warning that Tesla's valuation could drop by 20% if it fails to mount an effective counteroffensive within the next 12 months. On the flip side, Goldman Sachs now estimates that BYD's market cap could soar to $200 billion by 2026, especially if it secures government fleet contracts in countries like Brazil, South Africa, or Mexico. Back in Texas, at Tesla's Gigafactory in Austin, the mood is tense. While the factory employs over 10,000 people, insiders report that executives are quietly exploring new automation modules and software optimization, not out of innovation, but out of fear, out of necessity. If BYD's ultra-cheap, high-tech models force Tesla to slash prices, the only way forward might involve reducing headcount, merging departments, and leaning heavily on AI across production lines. This sets the stage for a brewing battle. Labor versus automation. A defining conflict that could reshape not just Tesla's future, but the very foundation of America's industrial workforce. For the first time since the Model S redefined the electric car, Tesla is facing a competitor that isn't just copying. It's outpacing on price, on efficiency, on charging speed, on range, on availability, and most dangerously, on scalability. The 2025 BYD hybrid isn't just a new drivetrain, it's a philosophical revolution. It challenges the core assumption that EVs must be expensive, infrastructure-dependent luxuries reserved for the elite. It proves that electrification doesn't need to wait for perfect grids, $70,000 Teslas, or Silicon Valley unicorns. It says the future can be efficient, affordable, and accessible, built in one vertically integrated factory, sold at 1/5 the price, and still outperform the rest. For tens of millions across the globe, from overworked nurses in California to assembly line workers in Ohio, truck drivers in Nevada, software engineers in Berlin, and families in rural Africa and Asia, BYD's 2025 hybrid system offers more than a car. It offers hope, not a niche product, not a budget compromise, but a bold, high-performance, future-ready vehicle that could finally make universal EV adoption a reality. This is no longer just a market shift. This is a global power shift, from west to east, from Silicon Valley to Shenzhen, from innovation labs to operational dominance. And the question now is no longer will Elon Musk respond. The real question is, can he respond fast enough? Because the world is watching, the clock is ticking, and the dragon is already in the air. What do you think? Is Tesla's time up? Can BYD truly dominate the global EV market and leave Western automakers scrambling to catch up? Would you still choose a pricier, less practical Tesla? Or are you leaning towards BYD's smarter, cheaper, and more accessible offerings? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the bell icon, and give a super thanks to support our research. We bring you stories on Black Africa, its rich history, powerful culture, and the hidden truths the world needs to hear. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.